Everyone, I probably wouldn't recommend every single person out there to buy a broken iPhone. I think there's definitely lots of issues with buying them. But personally, I actually love purchasing some iPhones that are in different types of varying conditions. Now, all three of these iPhones could be considered broken in a way, which we'll get into in a second. But physically, at least on the back and the outside, they all look pretty decent. But each one of these have their own individual problems. Now, to answer the main question why I love buying or purchasing a broken iPhone is because you can typically get some of the craziest deals associated with any iPhone out there. Meaning, if you don't really care about having a cracked back, personally, I bought many iPhones that had some sort of problems. Actually, I bought a lot of technology that had some problems because physically, I don't really care too much if a phone has a cracked back. I don't care if there's chipping going on. With this specific iPhone XR, the problem was with the display itself. So the display and everything is fully functional. If I go ahead and zoom in, you can kind of see that in the top left corner, I do kind of actually have some sort of like cracking going on. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it is one of those things that if you're not willing to buy, a broken iPhone, then obviously skip it. But with this type of device, I mean, the crack is pretty much up top, it's at the bottom too. But honestly, for the purposes that I'm using this specific phone for, with just speed testing and everything, it's really not that big of a deal. And honestly, if I had to, I feel like I could probably use a broken iPhone like this. But this takes us to the iPhone 11. Now with this iPhone 11, just like with the iPhone XR, at the back and everything, it looks beautiful. There's really not too many issues with it, but it's not until you go to the front of this phone, and that's where things start taking a little bit of a toll. Now with the iPhone XR, I spent $112 on it. I think everything else is fully functional on that device. With the iPhone 11 right here, this thing I bought for 100 and I forget, it was like $189, something like that. And it really wasn't that bad of a condition either, just a little bit better than the iPhone XR. But just like with the iPhone XR, you can see that this iPhone does have a little bit of a crack on the top. Again, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it is one of those things that if you don't really care about it, I really think it's a pretty good, decent value, to be honest. Now, this does kind of bring us to another kind of broken iPhone. So there's different variations. There's display cracks, back cracks, other things like that. With this iPhone X, this is also kind of considered a broken iPhone. But if you look around, I mean, the top isn't cracked, the bottom isn't cracked. There's no crazy chipping going on. But if you look at the display up front, you can also see that there's no cracks. There's nothing like that, at least, physically what we can see. And this display almost looks brand new. But the problem with this specific display is actually when you turn it on. You might be able to tell over the camera, but there is a bit of screen burn-in on the display on the top and on the bottom. And if I go ahead and make my way over to like the notes panel here, you might be able to see to the bottom, it seems like there's like the GPS thing just embedded within the display. Now, this is also somewhat considered a broken iPhone. Most of the time, if you buy an iPhone like this, most people will probably end up not liking it too much because of the burn-in. But again, for as deep of a value cut that I got this thing for, I think I also spent like $190 on this thing too. That was actually a pretty decent value for this iPhone. Everything else physically is fully working and everything. It's just a little bit of a cosmetic thing with the burn-in display. So personally, if you're just buying an iPhone, just for the purposes of just using it and just comparing it and for the things I use it for, it's perfectly fine. If you're planning on using it as your main device, it's a little bit of a different story. But personally, when I look at all these devices, I'm actually pretty happy with the way I've been using them, and for the deep discounts you can get for some of these devices, I think they're actually kind of worth it, to be honest. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.